So badly. Yeah. I went from the bottom to the top, to the bottom again. To the stories that I drop on my pen. And I give them to you pure, fall back and relate. I feel the core of my thoughts all scattered on pages. Been at it for ages, inadequate places. The aim and the basis, the battle for what?
One thing about the Cuban link is no one can definitively say it came from this country or this area. It emerges and disappears. Like there's no real history to it that's recorded. So some people say it came from Miami when the Cubans arrived after the Cuban Revolution. Some say it started in the Bronx. Some say it started in Egypt. No one knows, but I can tell you where I know it from. Let's take a dive into where I first heard about the Cuban. The Cuban evolved from the classic curb chain, a design that featured interlocking, flattened, twisted oval links. The Miami Cuban was thicker, rounder, and more tightly woven. This new way of making the Cuban made it much more of a statement piece. It sent a bold signal. When you saw it, because you could see it from different angles, you could see different cuts, and it shined more, it glimmered more, it took in more light. It kind of elevated it from just being the curb chain to, wow, a symbol of status. Look at that big Cuban chain around his neck. Not only did it look gold and shiny, it looked weighty. Look how heavy that chain looks. It spoke to people. We all know what gold costs. The bigger the chain, you knew that this person was actually a person of wealth. He had that chain. Well, that's what it symbolized anyway. Not to say that it was always the case. Just because you have a big chain doesn't mean that you're wealthy. However, you knew what 100 grams cost. You knew what 200 grams cost. You knew what half a kilo cost. You know what a kilo of gold cost. Gold has never been cheap. So although it's called Cuban, it doesn't necessarily mean that the link comes from Cuba. It was popularized by a people or a section of people, by the Latino population in Miami in the 1970s. So they called it the Miami Cuban. And then hip hop started from Cool Herc and the culture, and now it's become synonymous with hip hop culture. And mind you, don't think the Cuban has always been popping. It disappeared. Like from 1998, I remember seeing it and it disappearing and making a resurgence in about 2012, if I'm right. So I reference hip hop a lot because that's where it was popularized the most to me. I feel like the hip hop culture has literally made that Miami Cuban most famous thing across the world. Like even fashion houses have tapped into it, all because of the influence of hip hop. You've got to give a big shout out to the rappers, man. The rappers really amplified the Cuban link. Run DMC, Eric B and Rakim, Tupac, Biggie, Fat Joe, the whole of the East Coast movement and the West Coast literally popularized this link. The first album by Rake One and Ghostface was only built for Cuban links. The rappers and the street kids embraced it as a symbol of self-worth and success. Like things have changed now. When I grew up, it was different. If you saw anybody wearing a chain, not even just a Cuban, a chain, that person held some status. You couldn't just wear a chain and not have the backbone to back that chain. If you saw people wearing chains, they were official. It's changed now. The culture's changed. It's just fashion. Anyone can buy a Cuban chain. In that time, you had to be somebody. So if you saw someone wearing a chain, immediately it spoke volumes of who that person was. So now when you've got the Cubans weighing what they did, costing what they did, it's a new level. People are getting creative. Listen, there's a reason why I'm giving you all of this history. In life, you gotta know where you came from in order to know where you're going. And I'm taking you on this journey. You need to stay tuned to why I'm giving you all this information about the history of the Cuban. Stay tuned, keep watching. Before 2012, the game kind of changed after like the early 2000s. People started making it these white gold links and Franco chains, different links started coming into the game. You get these little ball chains and whatnot. Remember in 2012, you could see an insurgence of the Cuban, the likes of Kanye, the likes of Jay-Z, Young Jeezy, T.I. They were all wearing these Cubans, but these plain gold Cubans. 2013, 2012, don't quote me on it. 20th anniversary for So Def. Surprise guest, nobody thought Jay-Z would turn up. Jay-Z turns up. They do Ferrari and Jaguars, switching four lanes. Crazy, crowd goes crazy. But guess what? The guy turns up with a 5 kilo Cuban. We've never seen a Cuban of that size. 5 kilo Cuban chain. I'm gonna put the picture right there. Crazy. It goes crazy. So everybody else is wearing like a few Cubans that people are doubling up. He turns up with his 5 kilo. Game over. The streets has gone crazy. I remember me and my clique were going mad. Like, what? A 5 kilo Cuban? And don't get it twisted. You lot are used to people spending like 100 grand or 50 grand on a Cuban today. That wasn't the case then. Cubans weren't costing that. Cubans were costing, depending on whether you're getting it done in 9 carat, 10 carat or 14 carat. Cubans didn't cost that much. Like you could probably get up to an 18 carat. I done a notable rapper's Cuban and it was 18 carat. It came up to about 30 grand tops. That was then. Like you couldn't find Cubans that cost more than that. So him putting that 5 kilo Cuban on his neck was a big statement because you had never seen that. And then they estimated it to be about 200,000. God knows what that shit will cost today. This is before people started putting diamonds on Cubans. So this is just plain. You just wear plain Cuban. I can remember I used to go to Miami a lot. The Miami natives, they're on that. Like even today, after all of this gold and diamond shit, they don't play that. They just still wear just gold. Like if you go to Trinidad, saying gold. There's some cultures that have just kept the gold look going. After Jay-Z comes out with a 5 kilo, Plies comes out with a 7 kilo chain. Even of recent, I've seen Busta Rhymes do a big Cuban. Whether I like it is debatable, but there's a story for another day. This is happening, but it's filtering down to the streets. The guys in the streets are wearing it. We've got boxers wearing it. We've got basketball players wearing it. American football players wearing it. And it's filtering into the fashion industry, where the fashion industry are now making accessories, which are Cuban chunky chains. That is filtering into the influencers. Then you've got your Kim Kardashians wearing it. People are pairing it with grills. Street culture goes, you're always trying to find your own identity. So people are starting to pair stuff. We were changing the locks, a different link, every 3 links coming down. Identity crisis now. Everyone's trying to make their own Cuban. After that moment where it was just about plain gold Cubans, people got fed up and people started putting diamonds on them. So that's when the Cuban prices drove up. I remember Kanye had an interview with Zane Lowe and he had the Cuban on with the diamonds. There was a wave of that, just Cubans with diamonds. People got bored of that trend and someone, I don't know, someone in America somewhere came up with the prong set. The prong set Cuban was much more flatter on the top and it had more of a square finish with diamonds. So it went from Miami Cuban with diamonds to the prong set with diamonds. As of the last 3 years, or last 2 years I should say, it's gone from mosaic set Cuban with infinity links in the middle. So now people stop liking all of the mosaic and whatnot and people want a raised Cuban set. They raise the middle and put big stones on it. And this is the trend that is going right now. But as it goes in jewelry, there's different phases. Phase 1 where people are wearing pendants and then that disappears. Tennis chains, curb links, ball links, it changes, it goes round and round. But guess what? Guess who caught the new wave? So today, this video, let's go into what this video really is about. I said all of that, but it's about fucking me. Here, I've created my own Cuban and I'm telling you, this Cuban is crazy. In the last 3 months, if you bought a raised Cuban, a mosaic, call your jeweler and tell him to take it back because I'm telling you what I'm about to reveal to you right now. This Cuban is game over because I got tired of following trends that people are setting. I've always said it. And just like in the UK, you know, like people complain and say, oh, the music industry is boring, nothing's happening, no one's releasing. I feel like the jewelry scene is boring. No one's creating new shit. So guess what? I sat back with my team and I came up with the idea. I've got the maddest Cuban in the world, whole wide world, www, whole wide world. Yeah, I said it. I'm gonna take you from the inspiration, the birth concept, where I actually came up with the idea. It's all gonna make sense and it's all within my brand. Stay on this journey. I'm gonna take you step by step to how I got to my own Cuban. And guys, it's called the FLORA Link, not Flower Link. Don't be changing out the Flora in memory of my mum. Stay tuned. It's a mad thing. Why I made the Cuban is I'm bored. The jewelry game has become very saturated and I don't feel like we're all contributing enough. We're not coming out with innovative designs. There's a few people doing it. It's boring, it's the same old, man, because you know what? We're all caught up in this social media promotion shit where it's like, oh, put out content. The content, there's no substance to the content. Anyway, scratch that. I'm tired. I thought this is getting boring. I'm tired of following the trends that people are setting. People are making Cubans and we're making the Cubans the same way. Someone said raise. I thought, why? Why can't I just come up with my own Cuban? Of course, I'm capable enough, I'm creative enough. So I said to my team, we're putting out our own Cuban. So I went to the drawing board. Luckily for me, I already had the basis, the foundation of what I wanted it to look like. It's always been important for me to have a signature look for my brand. So you know when you look at, let's say, a Cartier piece, 9 times out of 10, you can look at it and say, oh yeah, that's a Cartier piece. Because you can tell by the panther, whether it's the panther, whether it's the love bracelet, When you look at the serpenti, the head of the snake, or how it's shaped, you know it's a Bulgari. When you look at my stuff, just want you to know that, yeah, that's a Chifa piece. It's always been important to me, and it's always been in front of my thought process when I'm creating, is that you need to look at this and recognize this. So the creative process starts with a sketch. So I started by drawing it. The reason why the Cuban's so successful and the most popular is because of the fluidity that it has. The Cuban flows. Even though it looks so rigid, there's fluidity within it because there's spaces in between the link. So my job was to figure out how I could add to this Cuban, because I certainly wasn't trying to subtract. Normally when I'm designing, the process is to always subtract to make it better. I was trying to add. It was how could I add these features or add design to it, but also maintain what it is so that it could flow once it's worn on the neck. So it's important. When I'm designing, I don't look at other jewelers and what they're doing, because you could get influenced by what's around you. Like, I'm trying to be original as possible. So what did I do? I went into my archives and I thought, what is so prominent that you're gonna look at this and just know that this is done by Chifa? I went to the FLORA ring. I've done videos about the FLORA ring. Everybody knows what it means to me. I named it after my mom. She wore cocktail rings, so I made a ring and dedicated it to her. So of course, I'm trying to push that legacy even further. So my first bet was to go to the FLORA ring. And I was like, oh shit. I'm gonna put the FLORA on the Cuban. I looked at how many stones it's gonna take, because the FLORA ring is bossy. I was thinking, wow, this might cost an arm and a leg. But like they say, if you're trying to break the internet, you've got to do the mad thing. So I look at the FLORA ring, I like it. I speak to the team, I'm like, this is what I wanna do. I wanna put the FLORA setting on the Cuban. We did a CAD, we printed it out in wax. I'll show you the wax. We realized that it still had that fluidity, so it would work. So I just knew it was game over. Now it was time to actually start making it. Guys, I'm telling you now, this is the maddest Cuban on road. I'm telling you now, like, I'm not even gassing, like seriously, you ain't ever seen a Cuban like this. As I was designing it, initially, it's only supposed to have stones around the rims of the concave circles. But then I thought, let me push the limit, because one thing about my clientele and my black book, there's always somebody that is willing to stand out. There's always someone that will pay the cost to be the boss. So I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna go all out. So I'm gonna show you a picture of it. So instead of just having stones around the rim like the FLORA ring, I end up putting big stones in the center of each ball. And all of this wasn't an easy process. Like I said, it wasn't cheap. Like, it cost a lot of money, and this hasn't been done. So there's loads of trials and errors. There's no blueprint to go back and look at and say, okay, we got to do it like this. So I'm doing it, it's not happening, it's not flowing anymore, the Cuban's getting stuck. So I just have to constantly keep on doing it. But I just knew that if I could just follow it through and get to this point, I'm gonna arrive at something that has never been done before. After all the trials and tribulations, finally get there. I make this Cuban, it's come out exactly how I envisioned. I'm going crazy, no one knows about it. Then Nines walks into the shop, and Nines is like, yo, what you been up to? I was like, bro, I've made the mad thing. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, bro, I've made the maddest Cuban bracelet that there is. And he goes, let me see. I didn't want to show it to him, but as you guys know, Nines has been a pinnacle person in my career. I had to go bring it out, so I go into the safe. I can get to the safe easy, but I'm building this whole drama behind it, innit? So he's upstairs, I'm downstairs, I'm taking my time. I get this little tray, I put the bracelet on it, and I cover it with like a cleaning cloth. And he's standing upstairs, and I walk to him and I just say, Nines, you're never gonna see anything like this. And I literally whack the cloth off. Bro, Nines is a guy that's been wearing jewelry for a long time. Nothing really phases him. But the way he leant back and was like, his facial expression, I knew I had it. I knew it was game over. He was like, whoa, what is this? Guys, he bought the bracelet straight away. He bought the bracelet, he goes, I want this. He said, how much is it? I didn't even know how much it cost, because I haven't calculated. Obviously, when you're creating something, you don't really keep track of, well, I don't keep the track of what it costs. He was just like, Chifa, just let me know what it costs. I'm taking this. That's why this video is delayed. he bought it straight away. So I had to make another one. As much as I hesitated to sell it to him, in my head, the businessman clicked in. I thought, finally conquered the formula of actually making it to the right standards. So if I've got the formula right, I've got one of the biggest rappers in the UK, known for jewelry. It was a no-brainer. Like, Nines to debut here, that's a no-brainer. Ladies and gentlemen, fucking hell, man. I've had some ups and downs in my career, man, but fucking hell. This is the Magna Carta Holy Grail, man. This is my reasonable doubt. This is my Illmatic. This is my Stillmatic. I'm delivered. I don't care what anybody says. I know what I've created. Like I say this all the time. I create for those that know. I've got a council. These people that are in my council, I fully rate. Like, they're tastemakers. They've got their finger on their pulse. Like, they know what's good, and they're so brutal and honest with me. So I was sending it to individuals and saying to them, what do you think of that? And I'm telling you the response. Listen, it's a madness. No one can't chat. Listen, I coined the phrase bust down king. Like, I'm the bust down king in it. Like, it was only right for me to deliver a bust down Cuban, like my own Cuban. I had to, because I was building my brand. So I was like, oh, you know what? Let me just step away from this, because I know I'm good at this anyway. Let me put a new task on where I wanted to make fine jewellery and stuff that appealed to the masses. And bro, I went back into my bust down king bag. Family, your jeweler needs to catch up. Like Heinz, bro. It's a mad thing.